Aquí. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to being part of this amazing view, amazing spot, amazing connection with all beings around. And with these two women that I'm pleasant to receive at Eagle's Nest. Andrea Castillo.
Gracias.
And Alyssa, Cate. Es la primera vez que hacemos un live streaming, and if you are enjoying, thank you so much for being part of this experience at Eagle's Nest, turning to a new cycle of connection, women opportunity, and this festival, IXCHEL New Moon Festival. We are receiving all the women energy, and it's a powerful connection we are doing today with a beautiful ceremony and the moon takers and the connection with the fire and water. And now we are moving a little bit our energy into the business part of the life. We have here Andrea, which is a yoga teacher and also an architect. It's amazing. And also Alyssa, who is managing a beautiful business with a lot of social connection with local women, and it's nice. We like to know more about them. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Hi everybody. My name is Andrea. I am Guatemalan. I'm born in Quetzaltenango, a city that is 1.5 hours away from here. Since I was little, I felt always attracted by the lake. I always knew I was going to make my life here. And when I turned like 28, I graduated from university as an architect, did some studies abroad, and I realized like I want to come back to Guatemala so bad, and the lake. So even when I had hard moments, the illusion of coming here and work was what kept me going, and I did. And I start my architecture business here, starting to design and work and just develop architecture around the lake, which was my dream, the sustainable architecture. And here that everything seems possible, like everything is possible. And I realized that, and I started doing it, and now it's like 7 years, and I am doing that here.
Hello, can you hear me? Maybe,
Okay.
What is best?
Yeah, you can use yours.
Hello? Oh, thank you very much. My name is Alyssa McGarry. My middle name is Cate, so it's Alyssa Cate on the flyer. I'm from the United States. I was born in New Jersey. I think I will give you a little bit of a background as to why I'm up here talking to you, so we have a little bit of context. Before I do so, Andrea didn't gloat enough about herself. She has been doing like really amazing big projects here on the lake, and for 7 years she's been working in a really big local community, building sustainable houses for various clients for the past 7 years. And if anyone talks about architecture on the lake, everyone knows her, and I think it's just she needs to know. She's a good friend of mine, and I'm just really proud to be up here with you. So I've been here living full-time on the lake for 10 years. I arrived here on my 25th birthday, so I'm 35 years old right now. I studied economic development of Latin America. So during university, I started speaking Spanish. I started solo traveling Central America. After seeing so many things, I realized, well, I don't know enough about what is going on in these communities. I don't really know even how to really interpret what I'm seeing across Central America and the different towns I was going to. And I said I want to learn more, so I went into a master's program focused on Latin America. I studied in Washington, D.C. at Georgetown, and I was pretty much trained to be like a foreign service officer for USAID or the government, but I really wanted to know what they knew before kind of diving into community projects, which were my dream. I took a job here in IXCHEL for Pencils of Promise. They're based in New York. They build schools and teacher trainings, curriculum development, really specifically for remote indigenous communities here in Guatemala. At the time, they were in Laos, Ghana, Nicaragua, and expanding. And I was one of their first employees here on the ground, and my goal was to find the neediest communities that really didn't have a school, where the kids just had chairs outside, or they had like a temporary structure, whatever it was. It wasn't to look for communities that were easy or that were close. It was for me to go. I was taking chicken buses, pickup trucks, getting to a community and still having to walk 20 minutes in order to say, wow, we found people who are really, really in need. The good thing with Pencils of Promise at that time is they didn't have budgetary restrictions. They were fundraising really well in New York amongst a kind of an elite society, and they were just, you guys on the ground do the work, and we were given the freedom to do that. And that's kind of how my story began, as to when I came thinking it was a 4-month job, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. I was supposed to just get the project off the ground, train locals, and be on my way. And 10 years later, I'm here talking to all of you. What happened was I would go to these communities. My job was to say, hello, you got me, I'm here, I'm with my coworker, and we're here. We're going to talk to your community leaders and say, can we help you build a school? Is that something you want? Is that something you need? Is that beneficial? But if you tell me your other needs, I can go back to IXCHEL, where there are organizations fundraising for dental, health, maternal, whatever it is. I said, please talk to me a little bit about your story, so when I go back, I can maybe find another organization and say, hey, I made it to this place. You guys also need to go there. We can only do schools, but maybe you guys can bring your dental trucks, or your other people who are coming down, doctors, whatever it might be, the different maternal groups that go in to help women, financial support, everything like that. I would go in, every day would be the same. There would be a woman with a lot of different stores, a lot of different other brands, and everything we did was from the perspective of, this is not my story, it's their story, and everything was marketed to the sense of, who made your product? Where is your money going? How much did they get paid? And the entire story of the person who made the product, and the technique, and the financials behind it. And that was my goal with Hiptipico, as like a passion project that has since kind of taken off and is in a very evolutionary stage right now, which I would like to talk to you about. But first I want to pass it back to Andrea so she can tell some stories from her community as well, because she has really amazing experiences with the people she works with her architecture firm as well. But that's why I'm here and why I'm talking to you today. Thank you.
Muy bien. So some interesting stories of how I started here. So I'm a woman here working in a man's field. I just work with guys, albañiles, that are local, that they learn to build by not going to a school, just by learning by others, and they slowly start developing their skills. And so I'm there, so I hire one guy, and he bring me other friends, and we start doing some works, and we start learning together. And then I make my team with people I trust, and the people that hire us to do designs and houses were foreigners with American standards, and here they come to Guatemala. And okay, so we do the best that we can, but it's different. The materials, the way everything is built is different. And I feel I develop in between, that I'm learning that of course we have to do this quality job, but it's not easy. Like, these guys haven't seen anything like this before ever. And so I show them, we learn, and there's a lot of emotions going this, because, and also sometimes the guys like, okay, they are drinking, they don't appear, okay, but we have to develop deliver the job. I have to call someone else. So it's been a challenge, but it's also rush. I like it because it gives me a lot of energy. Like everything can happen. Everything can happen, and sometimes that's the adaptability to that. We are usually want to have things for sure for sometimes. As an architect, I develop a plan and I think, yes, this is gonna be like this. And we try to keep it, but there are so many other factors that are involved. And so that's how I started working with the community. I started in Jaibalito. I don't know if you know that small village. See, so my original team is from there. So from young people to, I have one that is 35 and they call him viejito, but he is like very, very nice guy, and they have their families. One time I tried to include women in the, but it was not very easy, like it's by culture, it's like a man's job. And here, it's the construction way we do here is like with rocks, with bringing things up, all the way up to here. We need fuerza, strength, yes. So it has to be with guys. And also the weather here, when that is rainy 6 months and dry 6 months, so windy, that also affects the architecture and how we do our plan. For example, in May 3 is El Día de la Cruz, and we had a celebration with the guys because it's they in their that we as builders we do a ceremony to protect us from the rainy season. So in every building there's a big cross that made with flowers, and that's how I feel like, yes, we are connected with what it is, with the environment, and we put our job here in God's hands with this ceremony. See, and since that, I've been working in Jaibalito, in IXCHEL, and now in San Marcos, like since the last 3 years. See.
Thank you so much for bringing us to this imagination. What is your job during that time? You're living here in Guatemala, being from Guatemala, and actually the opportunities we are getting after like receiving this connection between the foreigners and also Guatemalans. We have, like you said, you both mentioned about how many talents we also have, and we want to actually get the opportunity to bring these gifts that we have in our hands to put them in work. So both of you are building that part of that, and it's inspiring me to like, wow, we have this energy to get this working. When we are working together, we are doing big things. So I would like to know more about the big experience you have in the environment you are managing with.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that once you arrive here at the lake, if you are open to receive, you can feel it is undoubtedly full of energy, creativity, and it's quite strong to anyone who can really feel it. And I believe all of us are here for that reason. You've come and you haven't left yet. And I came and I haven't left yet. Andrea herself as well, you know, she always dreamed of coming here because when she was younger, she already felt it. And I think that that's extremely powerful. And it's also something we have to be really conscious about. 10 years ago when I started Hiptipico, I labeled it an ethical brand, an ethical fashion brand. It was all handmade. It was all made transparently in small home workshops. We would never exploit the workers. They were able to set their own pricing. Everything was open communication. Everything was transparent in terms of what we shared with our customers and our clients, which was something that was really important to me. And I think as time goes on, we also have to redefine what is ethical and what is sustainable and what we do with the energy that we feel, and is it really ours to harness, or is there a bigger purpose here? And I think that's something that Andrea and I constantly talk about, and hopefully we can convey to you guys, is that yeah, we feel this energy, we feel the creativity, we feel it through us, and we want to do a project and we want to do something. And at that time, 10 years ago, there was another fashion brand. I didn't see it. It wasn't there. There was not a website that said, this is the woman and this is her product, value her. And at that point, that was what came through me and what I created. 10 years later, down the road, I cannot comfortably sit here and say I have an ethical brand as a white woman from the United States, living and profiting off the indigenous community. I'm not comfortable saying that. Now, I have a brand for 10 years. I don't know. It's evolving, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do the next step, thinking about what I've learned these past 10 years in the indigenous community, working alongside indigenous people, fully in their house, full relationships, conversations and everything like that. And that's one thing I want to make sure that I share with all of you, is that we have to question ourselves and why we're here. And if we feel something spiritual and we feel something through us, that is a beautiful thing, but our physical presence has an impact on the people around you. That is everyone in this room. That is everyone down in that town that is not sitting here right now and has never sat here and probably never will. It affects everyone here on the lake, and this is a global issue. This is not an our issue. We have power and money and privilege, and it is our job to define what we are going to do with that. And I would feel extremely guilty to sit up here and say I have an ethical brand, because I'm redefining that, and it's my job as a leader in the industry to make sure I'm setting a good example. And for me, the good example is just question everything and evolve and be better than we were yesterday. And that's all we can do. And I know Andrea has some of her own stories and experiences that have led her to feel similarly as a Guatemalan, non-Indigenous. There are two different worlds that we need to understand here in Guatemala, because we're here in Guatemala. I would love Andrea to tell a little something about her story. Thank you.
Same. So being from Guatemala and working in the community, I'm like 6 days a week with the community, mostly guys. But so I see how hard they work and how we're working. And we are mostly building houses for foreigners, not like houses for the community. See, and we are impacting the environment. And I also feel free to feel that calling of reinvent myself too. After, maybe it's because we're in our 35s, I don't know. But it's something that I want to evolve. I don't know if I want to do this all my life, but I want to send a message too, to be conscious about how we impact the environment. Like in the future, this will be full of houses, and I'm seeing it too. And it's, even though if we do a minimal impact, but this is something that will happen because we're growing, we need a place to live, we like it here. But being conscious and trying to be our best with that, I think is the message too. And see, I'm trying to do my best with the guys, and to also to do the sustainable alternatives here. We do the septic systems, everything by the law. Try to use local materials. Try to use local, the community to work. Do the less impact possible, but there's always an impact. But then on the other hand, I feel like if we don't do nothing, it's also not developing. So it's a middle point that I'm navigating in the now after many years of building.
Thank you so much. It was so connected, both of you. You taught my heart. Actually, in the real point of what I feel now, in the spirit of the time. I'm also Guatemalan, and I'm honoring the space. I'm open to be here and to sit here. And the opportunity we have to get here and to receive the knowledge and the wisdom that people have here. Actually, the local community had a lot of powerful, a lot of energy, a lot of impact, a lot of connection through the mother nature, through the lake, and they are still praying, they are keeping this land living, working and growing. And how much we are coming here to value, to receive the energies. But actually we are coming here not only for receiving, but also actually weaving. Weaving, this word was not in my mind, but it came. So weaving, we are weaving the energies, we are weaving the life. And this is what we are doing. And I would like to know more about the weaving you are doing with this beautiful women you are working with. Oh, is that?
So I guess, have any of, if you want to raise your hand, have any of you been to a community or seen weaving or gone to a woman's house or a workshop? Anybody? Well, that's also one of the things that is part of my business, is we introduce travelers into the houses of our artisan partners. This was something we called like our immersion tours, and they were led by locals, and our local staff was there part of the process. Most of the time I was there because of the language barrier. So it was myself and a local, usually in Santa Catarina, San Antonio, San Juan. And the travelers were able to come into the house and learn the entire weaving process. And I think what's kind of hard to explain is, unless you see it, you don't really understand how much time and effort goes into it. Just one of the blouses that they make can take 4 months, and that can be them every single day doing a part of it. And I think we can all kind of try to grasp that, but what we did during these tours is allow you to sit down and try it for yourself. And I would say maybe about 90% of the people who came, like, I'm tired. Like, my fingers hurt. My back hurts, because they sit on the floor, and because the communities we work in are very traditional. They don't want a chair. They don't want a studio. They don't want that. They are comfortable the way they are. That's the way they've learned it. They sit on the floor, and that's the way it is. But at the same time, it is such a difficult job that many of the women at a certain age no longer can use their fingers and no longer can see as well. And a lot of it is directly derived from the amount of work that goes into their weavings. So that's part of what we do at Hiptipico, is explain the entire process from step 1 to where they get the thread. Because if they're on a tight budget, which most of our artisans are, they have to buy the thread in bulk. And then they have to organize it. So they're not buying thread like we would, that's like on a spindle or in a ball already. They have to take the thread and they have to separate it, and they're gonna spin it until they have the ball they need. And then they're gonna design it, so then they take the warp and they start to lay out, and that's their creative process. That's when they don't really have to think too much, and they get to pick which colors they're gonna put, and they start just layering the threads one by one by one. And they need up to 400 layers of threads before they can move to a loom. And at that point, sometimes it's really a beautiful, some of the women say it's like a meditative process, some of the women say it's a creative process. They just pull the colors and they just go around and they start, and then they see what they've created. And at that point, that goes onto their loom, and it is strung one by one by one, tied in a knot for 400. And that is before she even starts. She hasn't started weaving, she hasn't even put the loom on herself. And at that point, she starts line by line by line by line by line, from memory, directly created from her mind: fish, corn, sun, moon, whatever, they making these patterns, line by line by line, for 4 months. And then it's complete, and it is like the women's blouses that you might see here. Every village is different. The ones in Santa Catarina are particularly intricate, and they use silk, so even it's a little bit like slipperier, and it's a little bit more of a difficult process. And that is what I've spent the past 10 years doing, is explaining this entire process. Whenever you purchase something on the website, it explains to you how it was made, how long it took to make, and why it's important that we know that. Because we are so used to just wanting things really quick, and then throwing them out when we're done with it. But when you know that something took a woman so much of her time, her energy, her creativity, that the goal is that you pay a higher price for it, value it, and then treasure it. And that's what I think is really important, and something that we can take for all aspects of our life, that we need to kind of slow down and appreciate and take care of the things that we want.
I want to say something else about the architecture. So a house is probably the most important project that you're gonna have in your whole life. So I'm conscious of that with every person we start designing their house. It's like a dream that we start drawing, and then until it becomes a reality, and it's amazing. Here it's also slower than in the States. Maybe 1 year, depending the size of the house, to 1.5 years, and it's a process. We all evolve since the day one. We're not the same persons as we finish the house, and there's a lot of emotions, challenges, and it's beautiful. I feel honored to be part of that creative process of someone's life. And what I would like to say is that I feel also, even I'm from Guatemala, as a visitor here. So respect is the key, I think, to connect here and feel that I don't own anything, I'm not better than anyone, and that we respect and work with the community hand by hand. Without them, without the albañiles, like I will not be nothing. See?
And we are diving into the sweetness, gentle creativity, and also to build big buildings around. And that's a huge contrast, because we have the feminine energy and the masculine energy, and both connections, and both are in connection with the culture, the giving back to the community, and also how the opportunity we can get, both of us, to get our hands working at the same time, hand by hand with other people that are part of us, our job, our businesses, and we are creating a good connection. So I would like to know more about how you started from nothing, and how you can connect strongly, because it's a deep relationship you have with people around. How you get into this connection heart by heart with them.
It started like everything started with nothing, and then I think this is not just like this. It's built with hard work and with a lot of experiences, and a lot of sad experiences and also happy experiences. So all that together then somehow make you take wiser decisions one time when this happened, like, oh, now I know how to manage this, and then that makes the difference. And now I feel like, yes, after many years of work, I feel like, yes, I know what will happen if we do that, like, or we have to do that foundation that way for sure. It's something we have to experience and build.
Yeah, so I guess, I'm not sure, I don't know any of you who are sitting in front of me, but I know we all have a job or have a purpose, or are looking for a job or are looking for our purpose, undeniably. And I guess when I started Hiptipico, it was no question in my mind. There was no doubt that this is what I wanted to do, and almost unexplainable, and it just came through me freely. It was easy, it was fluid, there was challenges, of course, but it wasn't a challenge about the purpose, you know, it was really clear. And I think it's really important for you guys who are sitting in front of me, if you don't feel that it is that clear, you're just not there yet. You're just not there yet, and you have to give yourself time and patience, and you will know when it's the step you need to take and when it's your passion. At this point, what I hope I can leave with you also is, I don't think Hiptipico is my passion anymore. I don't think so. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. The world is definitely not the same place it was 10 years ago. And what I am passionate about is making sure that I have a business that is making the world a better place. And if Hiptipico doesn't represent that at the moment, I will transform it, I will evolve it, I will close it, and I will start something else, whatever it might be. I'm certain that what I want to do is make sure that I leave the world a better place than how I found it. That doesn't mean I can't stop or rethink or say, hey, I don't know how to do that right now. And all of us here in this room, you will know. And if you're curious, go and be curious. And then when it comes to you, the only major cliche thing I can say is, if you don't stop, it will work. Just keep going. I just kept going. I didn't even know what, I just kept going. And if I didn't stop, it just kept going. But at the same time, if you feel you need to stop, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's kind of what I did with the energy that I felt here. And that's what I do every day, thinking about what that means to me and what is the legacy I want to leave, what is the impact I want to have.
Something important came is intuition. Intuition, trusting, intuition and confidence. Go straight at what you want. And he touched my heart because I came actually with a purpose and no purpose. No purpose and purpose. Lost myself in pretty darkness and say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know if I want this or I don't want this. And at some point I remember years ago I saw social media and I felt very particular, like connected with your energy and feeling the energy of, wow, this is what I'm looking for. I don't know if it's a business or not a business, but my purpose in life is to change, to connect, to unite, to be in their hearts, to be part of them. And this is what I want, even though I don't know, or maybe I would change, as you said, and then life is changes. Life has a lot of changes, and I feel happy and really thanks for the opportunity I've been feeling around myself, because I feel the energy, even though wherever I'm going, I just changed my life, as you said, as I feel. And I would like to receive more about your wisdom and how you guys tell the people how you transform their life, because this is passion and I feel your heart to hear, and I feel like, wow, I'm going now, I'm doing now. I encourage myself to do it and I want to ask for it, which knowledge I would like to receive from you.
About how I find my passion in architecture, I'll say when I was in third year of university, we developed a sustainable project, and I was like, yes, you feel the spark, and it's like, this is it, like, and it feels so good to find clarity. And I said, like, yes, now I want to study a master about sustainable architecture and read more and everything, and I'm going for that. And then I had to practice and experience, but it comes from when it feels right inside you, and no doubts, but at the same time you had to work for it. So it comes together, hard work and having the clarity, and try. Also, when I had feel lost like everybody else, and then I like try other things, and then I realized, and that's good. To feel lost is good too.
Okay, yeah, we lost sometimes. Yeah, this is the point. We sometimes feel lost, and this is the point you said. You mentioned we sometimes feel lost, and it's good to be lost and to find again the way. Going back where I'm going in life. I would like to get an advice from you when you feel lost. We don't know what to do now. I'm lost myself. What to do? Where I'm going? How can I find myself back again into my center and say, this is what I want, because it's my purpose in life.
I would say that the best advice I can give is just to be patient. I think that's something that is difficult for a lot of people, including myself. I would say I'm definitely not a patient person, especially in the days we're living in. We have instant gratification at our fingertips at all times, and we're getting very comfortable with that. And I think just slowing down and being patient is going to open up a lot of answers. And because we're talking a lot about this being about feminine energy, obviously the three of us here, the world has been run by a masculine energy. There's ego, there's competition, there's big business, whether or not it's all communities and all places, no. But the general idea of the power of the world for a very, very long time has been driven by this. And I think it's this switch that actually appreciating the feminine energy and allowing the feminine energy to be the leading energy in one way or another is something that we're all kind of tapping into, that we're all kind of transforming, and that the world is waiting for, to drop the ego and lessen the competition and more involve the community. And I think that's not going to happen quickly, but with patience and our being conscious and aware that where we physically are, as much as we're also here on a spiritual journey, we physically are here, and that also matters. And I think that's important that we look around us at our brothers, our sisters, our communities, the people, our neighbors, and how we can make small changes to improve even their lives. And those little steps and those little moments will bring you to your larger purpose if you can accept to not do this and just do this. And then eventually all of that's going to add up. And I would say that that's one of the things that's hardest for me. So if it feels difficult, I think that's also good. And the difficult things help us grow the most. And whatever it is you're going towards, your path can change. Just keep a clear focus on where you're trying to go, and it's okay if things change in the meantime.
I want to add that you bring in to me that I also didn't allow myself to fail or to do mistakes in this in this path, and I have learned a lot of that. Like it's okay, it's experience, and accepting that had also helped a lot in this process. Not like beat me up so hard when something happened.
And this is actually an interesting point that you both touch about failing and about this very masculine energy of, okay, ego, you have to do all the time, do. And you still going even though you have a lot of pain in your body and your physical energy and your mental energy, you are not aware of going and just rest. But we sometimes are in the, okay, do, produce, and this is not life, and this is that we are getting this craziness around and a lot of things that you already know, but we want to get back into our center and get back into our feminine energy again, to receive the option to, okay, taking care of me, and then after taking care of everyone. And I feel you are taking care about yourself a lot, to be part of this connection and community. That's why you understood a lot of people, because you take about your energy back again. So I would like to know more about you being in a very masculine business side, but actually the very feminine, powerful connection.
I saw your eyes like yeah, I think especially women in business, women in higher positions in business, female business owners, there's a lot of different factors at play, especially with my business. I mean, we were in New York and London. We weren't working really necessarily here. It was produced here, but all of our clients were abroad, and their expectations and their standards are extremely high. And as much as it's important to slow down and slow fashion and produce slow, we also had to keep up with the demand of the world. And as a businesswoman, you want to keep going. You want to be able to give those artisans that opportunity, give them that income, give them that client, and be that person that allows them to have this opportunity. And I would say, to be 100% honest, I did not take care of myself at all. And I would say, sitting up here today, I am not taken care of at all, because my business came first. Yes, I harnessed the feminine energy in me. I used that to make connections with the women. I felt connected to them. I felt it, and I felt like this is what I needed to do. And at this point, I'm sitting here saying, I don't feel that way anymore. I need to stop, and I am going to stop. And it's very important that we all take a moment to recognize when we need to break. How that break is looking for you can look different for anybody else. Some of you could be meditation and yoga. Some of you could just be traveling and eating. Some of you could be sleeping and staying at home. Whatever it is, I think it's important for us, especially as women, especially working women, full-time working women, business owners, CEOs, whatever it might be, that there is no shame in saying that you need to break and that you need to stop, and that our bodies and our energies all work differently. Mine may work different from yours. Mine definitely works different from males. I can feel it, I can see it. My boyfriend has feminine energy, period. I have masculine energy, period. We know that about ourselves. I'm still a feminine, I still have my feminine side and all of that, but at the same time, we're all different, and what that looks like is different for everybody. And just because someone else is doing yoga and meditating, and just because someone else is on trips and eating lots of food, doesn't mean that that's what you need to do. But you need to do something for yourself. And you can't let it go too long without doing that.
So about masculine energy in my work, it's a lot. Everybody, it's a guy. And you can feel that energy on site, but at the same time, architecture is delicate, beautiful. So we're creating that, weaving that energy together. And then, for example, when I first started, I thought that to be respect, I had to be strong and solid with them. And it was so hard for me, like I couldn't do it, but I said like, that's the only way they are gonna respect me. But it didn't work. So then I started just being myself and sweet, and then I don't believe you get respect by being so the opposite. So then it's like, this worked. I asked like, please can you do, and they do. It's like easy. It's like, so then I feel like, yeah, I don't have to be strong and mad if something like this. There's a mistake. We're gonna find a way to solve this. So that's how I play. So I feel comfortable by being with them the way I am, not like trying to be so strong. And then by how I can manage, like you said, taking care of ourselves. My spiritual path has been also something very important during my work, because otherwise, like I will not have foundations of when everything that happened, like to keep solid. And it's thanks for the spiritual path that I started a few years ago, and it's still going, and that keeps me going. It's very, very hard. Like I have to be reminded. Thank God it's always easy to be reminded, because there's always something going on. So then I remind, yes, I need to do more of my practice and come back. Sleep.
Thank you so much. In my personal connection too, I feel like, yeah, part taking care of yourself, your body, your energy, meditate every single morning. It's just giving you the energy, the strength for keep going, even in the more difficult part of yourself. If you are leading complications in your personal environment and the work and everyone, but the keep in the ground, meditate and be connected and pray and getting this opportunity of the soul, and then be open to to the energies, so you can get this back for you and get the strong energy to go straight and keep going. And I would really like to ask you if you can give us this connection. I would like to listen more about yourself and how we can keep going. And also, if you feel a question to give to us from them, so you are open to ask both of this woman energy, beautiful connection that you can ask. You can open. Now is the time for you to ask also the conversation to continue. Do you want me to say something?
Okay. A little bit, just kind of following up when you're saying about, meditating and taking moments for us and our spiritual path. Again, I feel like that looks different for everybody, and I would say, from my personal experience, the thing that I would say allows me to stay grounded the most and what I want to focus most of my spiritual energy on is just being grateful. I feel like this idea of always wanting more or not being good enough, and I think it really starts with just every morning just being grateful for what we have, and that is enough of a foundation to say, yeah, I'm right here and I'm thankful for that. And if that's also accompanied by meditation, breath work, sound, music, whatever, that is wonderful. And I think for me, I would love to leave with you guys that feeling of gratitude, because we are all extremely blessed and lucky to be here right now.
For me, what helped me ground and come back when I am hesitating is to many things. It's not just one thing. Grateful too, but to observe in other people. So take the attention out from me, like everything that is happening, and observe and interact and be present in what we're doing. And during architecture, everything is a meditation in work, but being in an active presence while we're there, it gives me a lot of peace and a lot of, we accomplish a lot of things. And so I feel like being present is one of my challenges, and I get to practice a lot in my business.
Thank you so much. I feel this energy, and it's so beautiful. And I see your faces, and I feel also your energy. And it's amazing that we are building this all together, waving this all together. Do you have any questions that you could put this in a scenario? And otherwise, we are closing this space. And thank you for this part. And if you have any other last advice that you could do for us, it would be appreciated. And thank you so much.
I didn't catch your name to the left. The architect lady?
Andrea.
Thank you. You sound so cool. Everyone does. But, so when I was traveling in Costa Rica, the real estate, this is more of an architecture question. Everyone was buying out from America. All these people were coming in and buying up all the land. And you were saying something about how this might be covered in houses one day. What's that trajectory like? Like, what does that look like in the next 10 years? Is there a lot of North Americans or like Spaniards coming and buying land? Or what? Just out of curiosity for the land, I was curious.
Yes, it is like that. I am being witness of this development, like booming, especially last year when the pandemic. Construction went up a lot. Building and materials went high, but it's more, and all the lands, I imagine these lands are also already sold to foreigners, and they do want create spaces of community But yes, and slowly, I imagine the town will stay there until, yeah, say, because they are selling these lands. It's not that they do want the money to sell,
And is any of it protected by Guatemala, or is it all for sale? Essentially?
Whatever they want to sell is for sale. See, and now prime land is not just the shore, it's also here with the view, everything. See.
Like Lake Tahoe.
But I feel the same, like, okay, let's stop development now. Let's prepare all as a protected area, because, but it's also some people like want the rights to, I don't know. So it's a tender topic, because we do want to have a house, we do want to create something, we have a project, and yeah, it's just happening.
I think it's just important to straight out recognize that there is a huge separation between the San Marcos local community and what's going on right now. Huge. It is undeniable. It is outspoken. It is the world we live in right now. This is not a Guatemala like Atitlán problem. This is a global issue, but we are part of it right now. All of the lakefront property, the primary, gone. That was, for their interpretation, public land. That was just where they went to wash their clothes and hang out on the weekends with their children, and now they're restaurants and hotels. Now, there's always the other side of the coin, job opportunities, influx of money to the economy. That's also great, and there's something to be said about that being beneficial. But at the same time, the lake is completely polluted. We don't need to go completely to that side, but that has to do with the overpopulation and the quick building of these properties without much oversight by the government or land protection or any type of natural reserve, which in my personal opinion, if was possible, this should be a protected lake. But it's not, and we just need to know, is a great question, but it needs a serious, straight answer, that's the truth. And that's not just here in San Marcos, but you'll see it around the lake, that foreigners or wealthy Guatemalans, Ladinos, Spanish heritage, are buying up most of the property. That doesn't mean they're not building a beautiful community or building sustainably. That's a separate topic. But there is not much land left for the indigenous people to enjoy on their own terms. But if we can integrate them into our communities with projects we have in mind, with times when we're traveling, if there's any way we can integrate the community, that way we can all benefit.
The last words we can say is integration, be patient, connect with yourself, be in your center, get back, allow yourself to be in your feminine and your masculine energy, and vibrate yourself with all environment, with people, local people, honor them, love them as you love yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you, beautiful men, women, beautiful ladies that are here, Andrea, Alyssa. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing the space, Eagle's Nest, to receive us and receive the energy with this Lake Atitlán. Thank you so much.
Just interact.